Hey, what's up mga peeps? We're back with another video. So for this video guys, this would be our first video for our differential calculus, and our first topic would be functions. So from now on, kukuha ko ng mga problems sa book na Differential and Integral Calculus 6th edition by Clyde E. Love and Earl Rainville. So yun, disclaimer lang po sa ating lahat, hindi pa ako expert sa field na to. I'm not very credible enough, but again, sharing is caring. So yeah, let's go. Kindly correct me kung may mga pagkakamali ako and I will check it out. Thank you. So let's go. Let's start. So our first topic would be functions. No? Functions, specifically trigonometric functions. When I was browsing kasi the book, when I taught functions, yun yung mga simple substitution na ginagawa natin nung high school. So may bago trigonometric functions and I focus more on that sa ating video. So yeah, let's go. Bago tayo maka-proceed, makasolve ng mga functions, trigonometric functions, kailangan nating i-recall ulit yung ating mga trigonometric identities. Yung mga ratio identity, quotient, odd even identities, Pythagorean, sum and difference, half angle, double angle. Kailangan nating i-memorize ulit yan guys kasi it would help a lot. Kasi parang magkakaroon tayo ng mga proving something churvanils dito. So, ganyan. So, yeah, let's start. So, let's start with the first problem. Easy problem muna tayo. Mga simple substitution para ma-recall lang natin kung paano nga ba yung process nito. So, let's start. Sabi dito, if f of x is equal to x squared minus x plus 3, find f of 0, f of 2, f of negative 4, f of negative 2x. So, basically, guys, ang gagawin natin dito would be substitute the values inside of this. Parang, if x is 0, what's the value of y? Parang ganun yung essence niya. So, let's substitute. That's 0 square. Let's start with this. F of 0. F of 0, that's 0 square minus 0 plus 3. 0 square minus 0, 0 plus 3, that's 3. So, f of 0 is basically equal to 3, guys. Now, next, f of 2. Dali, diba? 2 square, that's 2 square minus 2 plus 3. 2 square, guys, is 4 minus 2 plus 3. 4 minus 2 is 2 plus 3 is 5. Tama. Next, f of negative 4. F of negative 4, that's negative 4 square minus negative 4 plus 3. Negative 4 squared is magiging positive yan guys. So, positive 16. Ito, negative i-distribute natin sa negative 4. So, magiging positive 4 plus 3. So, 16 plus 4, that's 20 plus 3, it's 23. O, diba? Recall lang guys. Okay, next, negative 2x. So, yung lahat ng x natin, papalitan natin ng negative 2x. So, that would be equal to negative 2x squared minus negative 2x plus 3. So, negative 2x squared is positive 4x squared minus ito. I-distribute ulit natin yan. Kaya yan, magiging positive 2x plus 3. So, f of negative 2x is therefore equal to 4x squared plus 2x plus 3. So, ganun yung concept niya, guys. So, let's now go. Right, guys. For this problem number 2, guys, this is b minus b squared over 1 plus b squared. So, madali lang sa mga part na to. F of 0, we just substitute 0 to this part and we have the answer. F of 1, substitute 1. F of 1 half. Now, we move on here. Meron na tayong trig function dito which is tangent of x. So, paano natin to gagawin? Basically, it goes the same process. Kung ano nasa loob ng parenthesis na to, isa-substitute natin yan sa lahat ng values ng b. So, let's do that. So, when we have f, when you have tangent of x, we substitute that sa value ng mga b. So, itong b magiging tangent x minus tangent squared of x over 1 plus tangent squared of x. Now, guys, hindi pa ito yung final answer natin. Pwede pa natin tong masimplify. Alright? So, kung mapapansin nyo, if you can recall, 1 plus tangent squared of x is a Pythagorean identity which is equal to secant squared of x. Diba? 1 plus tangent squared of x is equal yan sa secant squared of x. Try recalling your trig identities and it will be very helpful, guys. So, dito, like ko sa baba, secant squared of x. I will just copy this. Tangent x minus tangent squared of x. Now guys, there are a lot of ways to simplify these terms. Pero okay guys, so there are a lot of ways to simplify these trig equations and all are possible. So for me, yung gagawin ko dito, i-separate ko sila. So since is subtraction, yung dalawang term, i-separate ko siya with the same denominator. So this will be equal to tangent x over secant squared of x minus tangent squared of x over same denominator secant squared of x. Now, I will use the quotient identity para makapag-cancel ako sa secant tsaka tangent. So tangent, I know that's sin x over cosine x over secant x using reciprocal identity, the same as 1 over cosine squared of x. Now, pwede ko nang makancel yung cosine tsaka yung squared doon para cosine na lang yung matira. Now, sa kabila naman, tangent squared is the same as sine squared of x over cosine squared of x. That's over secant, which is same as the reciprocal, 1 over cosine squared of x. I can cancel that out and cancel that out. Now, simplifying this would be equal to sine x over sine x times cosine x. Kasi reciprocal ko siya, nilagay ko sa taas. Same goes here. Na-cancel naman. 1 na lang yung natira. So, yung natira, minus sine squared of x. Now, we can simplify this further. Pwede naman itong final answer natin. Pero we can simplify it further. Kasi, makikita natin na sine x is a common factor of both terms. So, ilabas natin yung sine x. That should be equal to cosine x minus sine x. So, this, guys, can be your final answer. Sin x, parenthesis of cosine x minus sin x. So, yun, guys. It really needs mastery of the trig identities para mabilis natin siyang masimplify, mabilis natin siyang masolve. Okay? So, yeah. Mastery is really important. Kahit pa konti-konti, let's try to memorize those identities. It would be a big help. Right? So, next problem. So, g of x is equal to cosine of x. So, find g of 0. So, again, papalitan lang natin yung values ng x na to sa 0, 1/2 pi, pi, negative x, pi minus y. So, so let's start with g of 0. G of 0 is cosine of 0. What is cosine of 0? Okay, you can just type in your calculator, cosine 0, that's equal to 1. Yeah. So, you find the answer. Pero dapat, you should, kailangan nating ma-determine yan kahit walang calculator. Kasi, 0, 30, 45, 180, 90, yung mga ganong angles, they are special angles na pwede naman nating ma-evaluate yun kahit walang calculator. So, let's try doing that. So, again, this is 0. This is the quadrature vanilles. Nakalimutan ko na. 90, 180, and this is 270. Tama. So, 0 degrees is nandito siya, no? And cosine, we know that cosine is ka. Yan. So, ka to what? That's adjacent over hypotenuse. Alright. Our hypotenuse, guys, when it points down here, is always, let's assume that be equal to 1. Now, what's the adjacent side? Adjacent side is the value of your x, and opposite is the value of your y. So, dito, adjacent yung hinahanap natin. Kaya ano yung value ng x natin dito? The value of our x here is a positive 1. Alright? So, 1. So, that's 1 divided by 1 is equal to 1. Alright? So, for example, andito naman siya sa 90, no? Andito. The value, so, let's say, cosine 90. Cosine 90, guys. Cosine 90 is adjacent over hypotenuse. Ano yung adjacent sa side na to? 'Di ba? Wala siyang adjacent kasi 0 siya kasi hindi siya wala siyang x value. I mean, wala siyang x value. Do you get me? Yeah. Parang wala siyang x value kasi vertical siya. Yung x niya 0. So that's 0 over hypotenuse, as I said a while ago, is always 1. So that's equal to 0. I hope na-explain ko ng ayos. Yeah, let's try it on another problem. Baka para mas maintindihan nyo. Dito naman tayo. G of 1/2 pi. G of 1/2 pi. Okay, guys. Kapag nakita nyo yung pi na, kapag may nakita kayong pi, that means na the angle is in radian form, hindi siya naka-degree. So, basically, mas magandang i-convert muna natin siya into degree form para mas mabilis natin siyang ma-solve. No? So, pi, ang equivalent kasi ng pi, para mas madali tayo makapag-convert, is equal to 180 degrees. So, dito, I will just substitute 180 to pi. So, that's 180 divided by 2. This is the same as g of 90. Right? Yeah, right. So, yun. So, what we are solving here is cosine 90. And cosine 90 is equal yan, again, dito sabi ko, to 0. Bakit? Yan, explain ko na. Punta tayo dito para mas maintindihan nyo. G of pi. G of pi. This is also equal to G of 180. Now, substitute natin, that's cosine 180. Cosine 180 degrees, guys, is andito naman siya. Let's use another color. Andito naman yung cosine 180. Now, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Again, adjacent is the x value. May x value ba tayo? Meron tayong x value, but it goes to the left. It means it's negative 1. Right? Tama? Tama. Yes. Over, ano yung h natin, hypotenuse, is always equal to 1. Alright? So, that's negative 1 over 1. Basically, that's negative 1. You can try using your calculator to make sure. Cosine 180. So, that's negative 1. Alright, saan na tayo? Okay, g of negative x. G of negative x. So, yan, magiging cosine of negative x. Guys, there is an identity that I found. We call that, what do you call that? We call that the odd-even identities. So, you can try to check this out kung bago sa inyo kasi sa akin bago lang. Ang identity na to is importante kasi yung sinasabi lang niya, when you have sine of a negative angle, that would be equal to negative sine of that angle. When you have a tangent of a negative angle, that would be equal to negative tangent of that angle. Parehas yung mangyayari kapag sine and tangent. Pero kapag cosine yan, guys, cosine of a negative angle, ito, magiging positive yan. Magiging positive angle. Alright? So, basically, ang sagot natin dito would be equal to cosine of x. This odd-even identity are very important. Same goes here kapag yung reciprocal niya, cosecant. At ito kapag cotangent. At ito kapag secant. Alright? So, remember that, guys. Next problem. Dito naman tayo, guys. G of pi minus y. So, when we have g pi minus y, that would be equal to cosine of pi minus y. So, I want to change pi into 180 para mas ma-visualize ko siya, no? So, ito magiging cosine of 180 minus y. So, paano natin ito simplify? If you can remember, we can use the sum and difference identity of cosine. So, since it's minus, we will use the difference identity for cosine. So, again, remember paano ba yung, paano yan? So, that would be equal to cosine A times cosine B. Kung ano yung sign dito, babaliktarin mo lang kasi yun yung identity talaga. Yan. So, that would be plus sign naman, sin B, sin A. So, I will set 180 as my A and Y as my B. So, I'll just substitute values over here. So, cosine A, guys, is cosine 180. Next, cosine Y plus sin B and sin 180. Now, i-evaluate ko na yung cosine 180. Again, it's important to draw it like this kung hindi nyo pa na-memorize para mas madali nating ma-visualize. Okay. So, again, cosine 180 is here. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. The adjacent is the x value and the hypotenuse is always equal to 1. Now, what is the adjacent here? The adjacent side over here is negative 1, right? So, that's negative 1 over 1. Kasi it's going to the left eh. Kasi andun yung 180. So, negative 1 over 1 is equal to negative 1. So, the value of this is negative 1. Wait, let's use another color. That's negative 1. Cosine of y, hindi natin na ma-evaluate. Plus, sine b. Sine b, let's change that to sine y. Kasi our b is y, right? Next is sine 180. Sine 180 is opposite over hypotenuse. Again, opposite is the y value in hypotenuse is always equal to 1. What is the y value of this of the 180 angle? Wala, di ba? Kasi horizontal line siya. Kapag horizontal line, wala siyang y value. So, it's 0. That's 0 over 1 or basically equal to 0. So, sine 180 is 0. Okay, simplify natin. Negative 1 times cosine y is negative cosine y. Sin y times 0 is equal to 0. So, ang sagot natin dito, guys, is equal to negative cosine of y. Alright? Next. If h of y is equal to cosine y minus sin y, show that ganun. So, sabi dito, kapag in-evaluate daw yung function natin, yung function dito, dapat equal siya sa function na to at equal rin dito. Ibig sabihin, parang like, ipoprove natin na yung result ng lahat ng tatlong to ay equal. Alright? Using this function. So, let's start. Let's start with this function. Evaluate natin to. Yung nasa loob na to, i-input lahat natin yan dito sa dalawang y na to, no? So, that would be equal to, alright, I'll use another color. That's cosine y. Papalit na natin to. Cosine of, evaluate muna natin to, guys, para hindi tayo mahirapan. That's pi over 2. Again, sabi ko, yung pi natin is naka-radians siya. Convert natin sa degrees. Ang pi ay 180. 180 divided by 2, that's 90. So, that's cosine 90 plus x minus sine, same, 90 plus x. Alright. Evaluate na natin to, guys. Again, gagamitin natin yung sum identity ng cosine tsaka sum identity ng sine. So, cosine, that would be again cosine A times cosine B. Since plus yun, magiging minus dito. Minus, joke lang, sine na to. Sorry, sine B, sine A. Parenthesis, guys. Tapos may minus doon. Sine naman tayo. Sine, sum identity ng sine would be equal to sine A, cosine B. Kapag plus yon, magiging plus na dito. Kapag identity kasi ng sum, yung ginagawa ko, same sign. Kapag identity naman ng cosine, mababaliktad yung sign. So, ito, plus, naging minus. Ito, plus, magre-remain yan na plus. Alright? So, that's plus sine B, cosine of A. Now, I'll set this as my A, this is my B, this is my A, this is my B. Okay, so let's just substitute cosine 90 cosine x minus sine x sine 90 parenthesis minus sine 90 cosine x plus sine x cosine 90. Alright. So, we have here 90 degrees again. Draw natin to para ma-visualize natin. 90 is along this line. So, ano ba yung value ng cosine 90? Cosine 90 again is adjacent over hypotenuse. Hypotenuse natin, di ba, dito yan. Hypotenuse natin is always equal to 1. And adjacent is the value of our x. So, what's the value of our x? Since this is vertical, x is equal to 0. So, that's 0 over 1. The value of cosine 90 is equal to 0. So, ito, totally 0 na yan. Yung mga cosine 90 natin, saan pa ba? Ito, cosine 90, 0 na yan. Alright? Next, ano pa pwedeng? So, ito, 0, any number multiplied to 0 is equal to 0. Kaya ito, yung total na ito, 0 na lahat yan. Yung ito, 0 na lahat yan. So, pwede natin yung i-cancel out. I-cancel out natin yan para hindi na makagulo. Next, sine 90. Sine 90, sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is always equal to 1. Opposite is the value of our y. Dito, since it's vertical, merong value yung y is going up. So, it's positive. So, that's 1 over 1. So, the answer is 1. So, sine 90 is 1. Sine 90 is 1. So, okay, so let's evaluate. So, this would be negative sine x. 1 times negative sine x is basically negative 1 sine x kasi 1 lang naman. Minus, andito tayo, sine 90 is 1. 1 times cosine x is cosine x. Tama. Cosine x. So, ang sagot natin dito would be equal to negative sine x minus cosine x. Ito pa lang yan. Ito yung nasolve natin. So, isulat natin sa taas yung sagot niya para hindi natin makalimutan. Negative sine x minus cosine of x. Now, ang challenge natin, guys, kapag in-evaluate din natin to, dapat equal siya dito. Kapag in-evaluate natin to, dapat equal siya dito. Okay, so let me just erase this. Pi minus x. Again, I prefer na yung pi gawin natin yung 180. So, 180 minus x para mas mabilis nating ma-evaluate. So, that would be h of pi minus x would be equal to cosine of pi. Ang pi ulit natin, that's 180 minus x minus sine 180 minus x. Alright, so let's solve. Again, gagamit tayo ng mga sum and difference identities, and memorizing that would, I think, be very, very helpful para mas mapabilis natin to. So that would be cosine, difference identity ng cosine would be cosine A times cosine B, minus yan, magiging plus, mababaliktad lang, would be equal to plus sine B sine A, parenthesis, minus sine identity, difference ng sine. So, that would be sine A times cosine B. Kapag minus yan, magre-remain na minus kasi sine nga. Minus sine, same. Parang ganun yung paraan ko para mag-memorize. Would be equal to sine B cosine A. Alright, so let's evaluate. Let's substitute values. I will set this as my A, B, A, B. So, ito magiging cosine of 180, cosine of x, plus sine of x, sine of 180, parenthesis, that's sine 180, cosine of x, minus sine of x, cosine of 180. So, ano ba yung value ulit ng 180? Gawa tayo ng 180 is andito. 180, let's start here. Cosine 180. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Ulit, hypotenuse is always equal to 1. Adjacent is the value of x. So, ito, meron siyang value ng x kasi it's going to the left, but it's negative. So, it's negative 1. Negative 1 over 1, that's negative 1. So, ito, negative 1 na yan. Mga cosine 180, negative 1. Meron tayong sine 180. Sine 180 is opposite over hypotenuse. Hypotenuse, again, always equal to 1. Ano yung opposite natin? Opposite is the y value. Ano yung y value? Wala siyang y value kasi horizontal siya. 0, wala siyang y kasi kaya 0. So, that's 0 over 1. That's equal to 0. So, ito, 0 na yan. 0 na yan. Yung buong ito, cancelled out na yan kasi any number multiplied to 0 is 0. So, ito, cancelled out na rin yan. Alright, so next, dito na tayo. Negative 1 times cosine x is the same as negative cosine x minus negative sine x times negative 1 is positive sine x. So, that's sine x. I-distribute natin yung sine. Negative cosine x minus sine x. And eventually, tama nga, equal siya dito sa ating unang function. So, basically, tantananan, we got it right. Na-show natin. So, ito, pagbalik rin lang natin is the same kasi negative naman silang dalawa eh. So, ito, sulat natin sa taas, negative sine x minus cosine x. Now, na-prove natin na equal yung dalawa. Dapat i-prove pa rin natin na sa panghuli, equal ulit sila. Diba? Para, ano tawag doon? Para happy. Alright. Yung h of negative x. Alright? So, yung negative sign dito, it indicates na yung after nating ma-evaluate yung function, i-multiply natin siya with negative 1. So, parang yung sagot nito multiplied by negative 1. So, unang gawin is isolve muna natin yung sagot dito sa loob. So, that would be h of negative x. Copy natin to. That's cosine of negative x minus sine of negative x. Okay guys, do you remember kanina yung formula? Yung ito? Saan yun? Ay, wala pala. Wala. Yun. Yung sinabi kong add and even formula? No. Alright. If we have sine of negative x or tangent of negative x, ang dalawang yan is equal to negative sine of x. Also, equal siya dito. That would be equal to negative tangent of x. However, if we have cosine of negative x, that would be equal, guys, to positive cosine of x. No? So, we can use this to evaluate this para mas mabilis. Cosine of negative x, that would be equal to positive cosine x, minus sine of negative x. Sine of negative x, guys, may magiging negative sine x. Yan. Now, i-transfer natin yung sine sa loob. So, yan, magiging cosine x minus magiging plus sine x. Pero wag natin kakalimutan, meron pa tayong minus doon. At sabi ko, yung sagot ng nito, i-multiply natin yan sa negative 1. So, ito, distribute natin yung negative sign, magiging negative cosine x minus sine x. Tantananan, we have the same answer na prove natin na yung tatlong to ay equally the same. Alright? Yan. So, it really takes time and memorization ng mga identities, guys. Yeah. So, yan. Let's move to the next problem. Problem number 9. If g of x is equal to tangent x, find g, charan. Yung. Mahirap. Pero kakayanin. Let's go. If g of x is equal to tangent x, first, let's find pi over 6. Again, pi is equal to 180, guys. So, if that's 180 over 6 is equal to tangent. So, what's 180 divided by 6? Di ko na kaya. Let's use a calculator. That's 30. Sorry, guys. That's tangent 30. Alright, guys. So, tangent 30, you can use your calculator to evaluate that tangent 30 is equal to square root of 3 over 3. Yan. So, we have the answer. Pero how if we're not allowed to calculator? Again, sabi ko, 30 is a special angle. If you remember your 30-60, this is your 30, this is your 60. So, if this is 1, and this is 2, this is square root of 3. Okay, guys, if you can remember, we have the 30-60 special triangles. This is the 30. This is the 60. Beside the 30, we have 1. Beside the 60, we have square root of 3. And the hypotenuse is equal to 2. Alright. So, paano natin to gagamitin dito? Okay. So, tangent 30. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. So, katuwa. Opposite of 30 is 1. Adjacent to 30 is square root of 3. I-rationalize natin yan, multiply by square root of 3 and the square root of 3. We have square root of 3 over 3. That's how we get the answer. Next, g of x. Hey, what's up, guys? So, next, let us solve g of x minus 1/2 pi. Again, sabi ko nga ulit, guys, this is in region form. Mas maganda i-convert muna natin siya into degree form para mas mabilis natin siyang masolve. Again, pi is equal to 180. That's 180 divided by 2. That's 90, guys. Alright. So, ngayon, we can now substitute tangent of x minus 90. At first, I thought pwede kong gamitin yung difference identity ng tangent. But as I was solving, natigil ako. Di ko alam bakit. So, I tried to manipulate and tangent, guys, is equal yan sa quotient identity na sine over cosine. Tama ba? Definitely yata. Yeah, tama. So, yun yung ginawa ko. So, bale, sineparate ko siya sa dalawa. Mas mahaba, pero dito ko nakuha ng tama. Di ko alam. So, yun. Sine, difference identities ng sine tsaka cosine. So, yung gagawin natin dyan would be equal to sine A, cosine B. That's negative. That will remain negative kasi sine siya. Next would be equal to sine B and cosine of A. Sa baba naman, cosine A, cosine B, negative yun, magiging positive. Kasi kapag cosine, binabaliktad yung sine. Kapag sine, same yung sine. Yeah, I think it makes sense. Next would be sine B and sine A. Next would be to substitute values. X would be my A, this would be my B. Okay, so dito, ilalagay ko na lang sa taas nila para hindi tayo mahaba yung solution. B natin is 90. Ito, 90 yan. Ito, A would be X. Yeah, this would be X. This would be 90. This would be 90. And this would be X. So, let's find the values of cosine 90 and sine 90. It's better to draw again the Cartesian plane and to locate 90 degrees is along this line. Yeah. So, it's this line. Now, let's solve for cosine 90. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Hypotenuse natin is always equal to 1. Adjacent is always equal to the x value. And this line doesn't have an x value kasi vertical line siya. So, that's 0 over 1. So, that's 0. So, lahat ng may cosine 90 ay 0. So, ito, 0 yan. Let's use blue. 0 yan. Ito, 0 na rin yan. Ibig sabihin, kapag 0 to, 0 times ito, cancelled out na yan. Kasi, any number multiplied to 0 is 0. Yeah. Also this. Next, evaluate naman natin tong sine 90. Sine 90. Sine 90, guys, is opposite over hypotenuse. Kasi sine. Now, hypotenuse is also equal to 1. Opposite is the value of y. And what's the value of y? It's positive 1 since it's going upwards and it's a vertical line. So, that's 1 over 1. So, that's 1. Taran! So, the value of this is 1 and this is 1. So, simplify natin. That would be negative 1. Huwag na natin isulat. Negative 1 times cosine of x over sine of x. Yan, sine of x. Kasi ito, 1 na to. Ito, magiging 1 na yan. So, negative cosine of x over sine of x. Or, in other words, cosine x divided by sine x is the same as cotangent of x, but don't forget the negative sign. So, this will be our final answer, guys. Alright? Yes. Next problem. Next problem, guys, sabi dito, if f of x is equal to tangent x, show that f, pag sinubtract mo daw yung dalawang function na to, magre-result siya dito. So, basically, para siyang proving na may evaluation. Kasi, i-solve natin to, i-manipulate natin para yung result maging ganito. Alright? So, let's do this, guys. I-solve muna natin yung function na f of x plus y. Substitute natin sa tangent. That would be equal to x plus y. Dito, pwede ko nang gagamitin ko na yung sum identity ng tangent. Sum identity ng tangent, that's tangent A plus tangent B over 1 minus tangent A tangent times tangent B. It's very essential na memorize natin yung ating trig identities, guys. Talaga, it will be very helpful, no? So, next, I will set x as my A and y as my B. So, substitute lang ng values. So, ito magiging tangent x plus tangent y over 1 minus tangent x tangent y. Yung function na to, isusubtract natin sa value ng f of x. So, f of x is basically tangent of x, no? So, that will be equal to tangent of x. Kasi x, ilalagay mo lang yung x as substitute for x. So, it's the same. No. Next, ang next problem natin is paano natin to ipo-prove na same sa right side. So, parang ito yung left side, ito yung right side. Kung mapapansin nyo, yung baba natin, same siya dito. So, what can I do here is to merge. Ipag-subtract ko na yung dalawang terms na to. This is, we know, is implied na over 1 yan. So, para gawin yan, to get the least common denominator, multiply the two denominators, and that will be automatically your LCD. So, that's 1 minus tangent x tangent y. Tapos, ipag-cross multiply natin yung dalawang to. Cross multiply. No? So, parang sinisimplify lang natin siya, guys. So, ito, 1 times this will be same. That would be tangent x plus tangent y. Ito naman, minus, kasi minus sign yun eh, minus tangent times 1 would be equal to tangent x, ipahabain natin yan, tangent x minus tangent x times dito, magiging squared yan, tangent squared of x and tangent y. Wow, haba. So, yon. We get the denominator. Okay na tayo sa denominator. Yung next problem natin is paano natin i-evaluate yung numerator para maging equal siya dito. So, kung mapapansin nyo, pwede natin itong masimplify. Yung negative sign, pwede natin i-distribute na natin siya. So, ito, negative, ito magiging negative tangent x na, ito magiging positive na. Kasi parang distribute natin yung negative na sign. Kung mapapansin natin, pwede natin i-cancel to. Tangent x minus tangent x. We can cancel that out kasi they are in different sign na same naman sila. So, yan, cancelled na yan. So, we are left with, I rewrite ko lang, tangent y plus tangent squared x tangent y. Alright. Over, again, yung denominator natin, 1 minus tangent x tangent y. Okay. So, dito sa taas, meron siyang secant squared of x. So, paano kung mapapalabas yung secant squared of x out from this numerator? And naalala ko yung na meron tayong what do you call this? Pythagorean identity. Pythagorean identity kung saan 1 plus tangent squared x is equal yan sa secant squared x. This is a Pythagorean identity. So, mastery of the identities is really helpful, guys. Mas maganda yon para makasolve tayo ng mas mabilis. So, ngayon, kailangan kong mapalabas yung 1 plus tangent squared of x para mapalabas ko tong secant squared of x. So, yung gagawin ko dito, since they have common factors, kung mapapansin nyo, no, tangent y, ilalabas ko na lang yung tangent y. So, ito magiging tangent y, yung maiwan dito would be equal to 1 plus tangent squared of x. Kasi nilabas ko yung tangent y. So, this is equal to 1 minus tangent x tangent y. So, this is tangent y. Yung buong ito, magiging secant squared of x na yan. Na nanggaling nga dito sa ating Pythagorean identity. Over 1 minus tangent x and tangent y. So, that's how we derive. Na-prove natin, secant squared of x tangent y over 1 minus tangent x tangent y. So, yan, na-prove natin na this would be equal to that. Yan. So, ayun nga, paulit-ulit yung sinasabi, trig identities, that would be very, very helpful, guys. Okay. Last problem. Our last problem, guys, number 12, page 7. Sabi dito, for the function f of x is equal to sin x, show with the aid of the elementary formula, broom, ganon. Okay, basically, yung tanong, parang same lang sa ating last problem. I-prove natin na kapag sinolve natin to, ay magiging equal siya dito. Pero, sa tulong, with the aid, sabi nga, with the aid of the elementary formula, sin squared a is equals to 1/2, 1 minus cosine 2a. Alright. Now, before we proceed dito, guys, pansinin natin na sa ating ipuprove, meron tayo ditong 1/2 of sine squared ng 1/2 of y. Ito, kailangan natin tong hindi natin to makukuha gamit lang ito. So, what we need to do here, guys, is i-manipulate natin gamitin, sabi nga, with that help, with the aid. I-manipulate natin to para makuha natin tong sine squared of 1/2 of y kasi hindi siya na-evaluate, no? So, para gawin yon, I will set that the value of my the value of 2a would be equal to y. Bakit y? Would be equal to y. Now, ang value ngayon kailangan kong hanapin kung ano yung value na isa-substitute ko dito sa a na to. Ang isa-substitute ko dyan para makuha yan would be the value of this a. A, yung 2 pupunta sa baba, that's y over 2. Gets? So, ngayon, yung a is equal to y over 2, isa-substitute ko na dito sa dalawang to. So, this would be equal to sine squared of y over 2. So, parang basically yung ginawa ko is hinanap ko to para mag-same siya dito. Kasi that's the only way para mapalabas ko to. So that's, if sine squared is equal to y over 2, that would be equal to 1/2 of 1 minus cosine of 2 times the value of our a is y over 2. Magka-cancel out yung dalawang 2. So, magiging cosine y na lang. So, evaluating that, that's sine squared is equal to y over 2. 1 times ito, it will be just the same. 1 minus cosine y is equal to over 2. Okay? So, we have this value already na pwede nating magamit dito later. So, don't forget, 1 minus cosine y over 2. Okay. Now, solve na natin yung, I just make it smaller. Okay, isolve naman natin ngayon yung itong function na natin na to. I-subtract natin tong dalawa para mapalabas natin to. Okay. F of x. Ano ba yung original function pala? Original function is sine of x. Alright. So, f of x plus y is equals to sine of x plus y. Minus, yun, ito muna guys. So, sine identity ulit, that's sine A times sine B, joke lang, that's sine A times cosine B, plus yun, that will be just the same, sine B, cosine A. So, this would be my A, this would be my B, so that's sine X, cosine Y, plus sine Y, cosine A, ay cosine X, no? And next, ito naman, f of x. So, basically, that would be equal just to sine x minus sine x. So, idudugtong ko na. I will use another color. This would be minus sine of x. Okay. Ngayon, kung makikita nyo yung pinuprove natin, nakuha na natin yung sine, saan yun? Saan yun? Sine y, ito. Sine y cosine x. Ito yun, di ba? Sine y cosine of x. So, yun. Nakuha na natin to. So, pagpalit ko lang yung arrangement nila para hindi tayo magulo. That's sine y cosine x. Ito yun, no? Minove ko lang sa kabila. Ngayon, ito naman, move ko sa kabilang side. This would be equal to plus sine x cosine y minus sine x. Okay. Ngayon guys, kung mapapansin nyo, pinoprove natin, ito naging negative siya. Meron siyang negative 2 sine x. So what can I do here guys is ilalabas ko yung sa dalawang term na to, ifa-factor out ko yung negative sine x. Kasi yung goal kasi natin guys, kung I'm sorry kung nalilito kayo, yung goal natin is to make this two terms equal siya sa second term na to. Kasi ito, okay na tayo dito eh. Check na tayo dito eh. So, ito na lang problema natin. So, para gawin yon, copy muna natin to. Plus, yun, minus na siya. I-factor out ko yung negative 2. Alright? So, magiging negative, the negative 2. I-factor out ko muna yung negative sine x. So, negative sine x. So, bali yung matitira sa loob would be equal to negative cosine of y minus, plus 1. Alright? Plus 1. So, ito na yung napalabas ko. Kasi parang finactor out ko siya yung negative sine x dito. Which is ito. Okay na tayo, no? Pero, meron kasi siyang divided by 2. So, to do that, I'll just multiply this term by 1, which is 2 over 2, para makuha ko yung hinahanap kong may 2 doon. So, punta tayo sa baba. That would be equal to sine y cosine x minus 2 sine x. Yan, 2 sine x. Hindi ko muna siya i-distribute dito. Times, yan, 1 plus, pagbaliktarin ko lang siya, 1 minus cosine of y, yung 2 naman sa denominator dito ko ilalagay. Yun. So, kung napansin nyo, we're good na. Nakuha na natin yung 1 minus cosine of y over 2. Now, it's time na isubstitute na natin yung value na ito dito. So, since this one is equal to this one, pwede na nating isubstitute yung value na to. So, yung final answer niyan, copy lang natin, sine y cosine x minus 2 sine of x. Yung ito, magiging ganito. Would be equal to sine squared of y over 2, which is equal dito sa pinuprove natin. Cosine x sine y minus 2 sine of x sine squared of 1/2 y or y over 2. So, this is our proof and na-prove natin siya, guys. So, thank you everyone. That's it, guys. Thank you for watching. Again, tip lang, hindi po ako expert sa field na to. If you think may mga mistake ako, feel free to comment down below and I will check that, guys. I will admit kung mali ko talaga. And yes, good luck. Baka hindi na, I will try to upload videos if I can kapag naiintindihan ko pa kasi I was browsing the book and wow, yeah. The world of calculus is very wide. Ang dami pa nating hindi alam. So, yes, please like, share, and subscribe. Share to your friends if you found it helpful. Thank you very much again, mga bis. Good luck sa pag-aaral. Bye-bye, mga bis.